Okay, team. Now we're going to have a special presentation from Officer Michael Castro from the Chapel Hill Police Department on pedestrian and bicycle awareness. Officer Castro, you can take it away, sir.
All right. Hey, everybody, I'm Officer Castro. I'm with the Chapel Hill Police Department. Some of you probably have seen me before. I'm on the traffic unit. We're just today going to talk about bicycle and pedestrian awareness. If there's any questions later on, after you watch this, don't hesitate to contact me. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have, or if you have any concerns. So we'll get started. So pedestrian and bicycle safety for the town of Chapel Hill vehicles. Some crash facts. Each year, more than 2,400 pedestrians and 960 bicyclists are hit by vehicles in North Carolina. On average, about 160 pedestrians and 20 bicyclists are killed each year in the state, representing about 12% of all traffic fatalities that occur on North Carolina roads. In crashes with vehicles, pedestrians in particular have a lot to lose. Those hit at 40 miles per hour have an 85% chance of dying. Where are pedestrians and bicyclists being hit? So 1 in 4 vehicle pedestrian crashes happen when the vehicle is turning at an intersection or driveway. Nearly 1 in 3 vehicle pedestrian crashes happen in parking lots. And more than half of all vehicle pedestrian crashes occur near bus stops or on roads with bus routes. About 56% of all vehicle bicycle crashes occur at intersections, with a quarter occurring when a vehicle is turning. So the parking lots, a lot of that's because people are paying attention to their rear view mirrors or their rear view camera. They're not looking over their shoulders, looking what's behind them. They're relying on that camera. And of course, the camera doesn't show you everything. All right. The other thing with the pedestrian crash at the bus stops, a lot of that, you guys are a lot of times there, and we were able to get camera footage from you guys, which that helps us out a lot. It's helped us out a bunch of times with different pedestrian wrecks that we've had to see what actually happened and who may have been the one at fault. So, you know, having that there, if you guys stick around, if you see one, you know, we can actually get that footage from your camera, the video, and that helps us out. Pedestrian and bike crashes. This is from August 22nd, 2017, August 22nd, 2019. As you can see, 2017 pedestrian was 12, bikes were 3. And you can see in 2018, pedestrians was 20 and bikes were 7. And in 2019, they both went down back to, well, bikes stayed the same at 7 and pedestrian went down to 7. So we'd like to see both numbers at 0 at some point, but I mean, that's, at least it's gone down some. So this is just where pedestrian bicycle crashes have occurred in the past. And you can see the red is for the bicyclist and pedestrian is in the blue. And a lot of it, you can see more of them are happening in the downtown area. And then here's crashes involving Chapel Hill Transit buses. And you can see most of them are occurring in the downtown area. And here's another view of the crashes by Chapel Hill Transit buses. So crash countermeasures, education, training, enforcement, physical barriers, infrastructure. Speed not only affects the severity of a crash, but it also related to the risk of being involved in a crash. You have distractions, inattention, and driver fatigue. So respect, as Town of Chapel Hill employees, we are asked to model the behavior that we want to see. As drivers, this means stopping at pedestrian crosswalks or crossings, giving cyclists plenty of room, and treating all drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians with respect. And you got to think, you guys driving those big buses, that's a big billboard sign, and people see that. All right. They pay attention to that too. Just like with police, our cars, we do something, we hear about it. So you're a billboard sign for the town. So just be aware of that. Try to pay attention and don't get too distracted with what's going on. Pedestrian safety. So when do pedestrian crashes often occur? Day of the week, weekends, 23%, weekdays, 76%. And I'll say just weekdays because you have more traffic, people going to work, all that. Weekends is more, family bicyclists or people training for a bicycle race or something. Season, spring is 26%, summer is 20%, fall is 31%, and winter is 23%. Say fall, you have your students coming back into town, so they may be out there, walking to go to class or taking the bus or whatever. So that's, I think, where we're getting more pedestrians out around that time. Then it starts to drop off a little bit. So here's a video of texting and walking. Let that replay a couple of times. A lot of times you'll see people texting and then they go and just cross the crosswalks and they don't even look up. They keep their eyes on the phone. Well, that's kind of what could happen if that was a car going. All right. So drivers are required to yield to pedestrians at marked crossings and unmarked crosswalks at intersections, except where there is a traffic or pedestrian signal. So if you're like on Martin Luther King, where you have those crosswalks, I mean, they have those, they're marked. It should make it easy. The traffic or pedestrian signal more downtown. You see them throughout the town here and there at the bigger intersections, but for the most part, you see them a lot down in the downtown area. And then you see the ones with just the lights, the islands on Martin Luther King. We have there's one on a couple on East Franklin Street. So just watch for those lights. Be careful making your turns and stuff like that. Drivers must stop for pedestrians and bicyclists to stop at stop signs and flashing red lights, and must yield for pedestrians at flashing yellow lights. Those are your ones that are on Martin Luther King and Franklin Street. If you see them coming, I mean, obviously they should be giving you enough time to stop. If they're not, I mean, that's probably going to be their own fault, because it's not going to feel good if they get hit by a bus. But most I've seen here lately, most are paying attention to it. But once school starts up again, classes start resuming, you might get the ones that are just looking at their phone, hit the button, and think a car or a bus is going to stop right then and there for them. And unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But just look out for these. We have them all over the town. Drivers making right or left turns must allow pedestrians and bicyclists to cross first, unless pedestrians are prohibited from crossing. So if you see, a lot of times the signals, they allow for the pedestrians to cross, and then the cars that turn and all that, they don't have them going at the same time. But if you hit a spot where they don't have a signalized pedestrian crossing, let the pedestrian cross first. Let them get across. Sometimes I know there's one on NC 54 near Hamilton Road. That one does allow the pedestrian to cross because it's such a big road. So they start crossing, and then the person making a left turn has to yield, or the right turn has to yield. But if they're on the other side of the traffic, then you can turn. Once they pass over, whatever, you can make your turn. You don't have to wait for them to get to the other side. You just got to wait for them to cross the middle of the road. Then you can continue on. Same thing when they're crossing, like Martin Luther King. On your side, you have to wait. You know, if they're crossing, you wait. And once they hit that center, then you can start going. And the other side's supposed to stop and wait. So that's how it's supposed to work. You don't have to wait for the light to go off or anything like that. Just got to wait till they pass the middle of the, get off to the middle onto that island, and then you can cross. Same thing if it's just a crosswalk and it's a big road. Once they pass that middle, then you can go ahead and cross. You can go ahead and make your turn and then the other side has to wait if they're making a right turn or anything like that. State law prohibits drivers from passing vehicles stopped for pedestrians and crosswalks. We have this happen quite a bit. A lot of times you guys will stop for the crosswalks, and then we have cars going past you on the left. And that's when we see pedestrians struck a lot of times. So you guys aren't doing anything wrong. It's the other drivers that need to know, you know, if they see someone stopped at those crosswalks, probably a good clue that they need to probably start slowing down and stopping. Pedestrians have the right of way at marked crossings, meaning vehicles must yield to pedestrians. And state law requires pedestrians to use marked crosswalks when they are provided, and it is unlawful to cross a street outside a marked crosswalk if the pedestrian is between two signalized intersections. The signalized intersections is more for like the downtown area. So having those there, they should be using the crosswalks, because there's enough crosswalks in the downtown area for them to use, and they're not too far from either side. When you start getting out toward like MLK, you'll see people start crossing. Now they can, but they're the ones who have to yield to vehicles. If they get hit, it's going to be on them, where they should be using the crosswalk that's provided for them. And there's a bunch of them. So, you know, and that's going to be a choice they're going to have to make. When an intersection or marked crosswalk, pedestrians must yield the right of way to all vehicles. So, like I said, if it's not at an intersection or marked crosswalk, pedestrian has to yield, like I was just saying. So like on MLK, if they don't feel like walking up to those crosswalks and they decide they're going to cross, well, that's a chance they're taking. They have to yield to the vehicles. At crosswalks with pedestrian signals, state law requires the pedestrian obey the walk and don't walk signs the same way a driver must obey red or green lights. They're not supposed to cross. Some decide they're going to cross anyway because they don't want to wait. Everybody's in a rush to get to somewhere. That's when these crashes occur. So, I mean, they do get hit. It's going to be, hopefully we have some video, because it'll make it easier, because they're probably going to say they have the walk sign when they didn't, and even having witnesses and stuff is going to help us out a lot to make sure that, see what happened. State law requires pedestrians walking along the road to use sidewalks when available. They either should be on the sidewalk, and then if there isn't a sidewalk, then they should be walking on the against traffic, so that they can see traffic coming towards them, but they should be as far over to the right as they possibly can get. They don't want to be walking with traffic. They shouldn't be, but there's some people that you'll see that will. And that just makes it, if something happens with the car or something, they can't see what's happening, and that's when they're going to get hit. If they're walking with it, they can see what's coming towards them and maybe avoid it if anything does happen. All right, bicycle safety. So bicycle and buses are similar transportation choices. Bus travel and bicycle travel both accomplish the goal of providing alternate forms of transportation, environmentally friendly, provide travel options to residents, and share the facilities. So when do bicycle crashes most often occur? So daytime of the week, weekends, 22%. And then you have your weekdays at 78%. Weekdays is 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And weekends is from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Seasons, more than half of all crashes, 55%, occur from May through September. And those are your warmer months. Those are when you see more bicyclists out on the roads. So here's a video. It's a good idea not to be on your phone while you're riding your bike. It's kind of like being on your phone driving a car. All right, bicycle laws. Bicyclists must ride on the right in the same direction of traffic and as far to the right as safe and practical. So they just need to be on to the right. They go the same direction. They're considered a vehicle. So if they're considered, they should also be using stopping for stop signs, stopping for stop lights, just like a car. They're considered, we can stop them and write them a ticket for running a red light or running a stop sign. So they are considered a vehicle. They have to obey the same laws that cars have to obey. Bicyclists must obey all traffic signs and signals. And bicycles must use hand signals to communicate intended movements, such as turns and stops. Sometimes you'll see that. I've seen a lot of bicyclists do that when they're making their turns. At night, bicyclists are required to use a front lamp visible from 300 feet and a rear reflector that is visible from a distance of 200 feet. Bicyclists under 16 years of age must wear a bicycle helmet on public roads, public paths, and public right-of-ways. Bicyclists being passed by a motor vehicle or another bicyclist should remain as far to the right as possible and not increase their speed while being overtaken. So hopefully they don't start speeding up while you're trying to overtake them. But if you know you're going to be making a stop at a bus stop, don't try to overtake them. Just slow down, stay behind them, and then make your stop instead of trying to rush past them and then go in front of him, and then you're stopping, and then he's got to go back around you. So just try to let him go through. But if you're a good distance away, they shouldn't be trying to pick up any speed. Get around them and make your stop. Bicyclists must yield the right of way before entering or crossing any main travel or through highway in the roadway they are on is posted with a yield right of way sign. So they have to yield too. So you're coming up, and even though they have to get over to the left, maybe they're making a left-hand turn, they have to yield. All right. But they can use that full lane. So if they have plenty of room, they move into the left lane, or to the full lane, and then they're trying to get over to the left, then they can do that. All right. Like I said, they're a vehicle. They're using the road the way they need to. But for the most part, I mean, unless they're making a turn, they should be on the right side. They shouldn't be in the middle of the roadway or anything like that, unless if they're taking up a full lane because there's debris or something to the right. If they hit it, they'll make them fall. So they're allowed to take that right lane. All right, keep in mind, for bicyclists are very vulnerable, can be seriously injured, can be difficult to see, may not realize they are in a blind spot, and feel threatened when bus is too close to them. And pedestrians run to catch a bus, jaywalk, or cross at locations that do not have safety enhancements, walk between stopped or parked vehicles, including buses, and step into a street to get around people waiting at a stop. We've had one here recently that they got off a bus and they walked between the bus and a car behind. They went behind the bus and came out, and they wound up getting hit, actually by another little mini bus. So, but he walked kind of into the back of it. So you do have that happen. We've had it happen here a bunch of times. And that was in the downtown area. Bicyclists are trained to ride away from the curb's edge so they can avoid drains and debris, be seen more easily, and discourage drivers from squeezing them to the curb, and then avoid road surfaces, potholes, rain, wind, poor visibility, and make it harder to steer in a straight line. So these are the things they're trying to avoid. Like I said, they can use the whole lane if there's debris and stuff like that, or rocks, gravel, because that's the kind of stuff that will make them fall. So, or lose balance. All right. So just be aware of that. And if you are, like if they're on SDs going down, it's only a 2-lane, and they're riding probably as close as they can get. You can go over the double yellow line as long as it's safe to do so, to pass them, to give them more room. There's no, they've adjusted the law so you can do that. As long as there's no cars coming the other direction, you're able to go over that double yellow line, give them more room and space so that they can keep on going. And if they need to move over a little bit because of debris while you're next to them, it gives them that space to do so. Share the road, give space, be patient, use horn if necessary, expect the unexpected, look twice when turning, and pre-check bus every day. Keys to coexistence: follow the rules from previous slide, turn signal, cars and trucks hide cyclists, and bikes go the speed of buses in heavy traffic. Don't pass cyclists if you see scheduled stop ahead. And we had talked about that. So this is, I want to say this was over on Eubanks, I can't remember, or Weaver Dairy. Horses had gotten out, and there they are. Surprise. There's another video. This is actually on Martin Luther King at night. And this is at Perkins. So Perkins is at the light, and Harris Teeter is over there. You can see how that was just a near miss with that gentleman crossing, and he wasn't even in a crosswalk. Play it one more time for you guys. You can see how that green light kind of blows your vision a little bit, and then once they passed it, see how everything changed. This is, I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. So this is on North Columbia, getting ready to cross onto South Columbia from right at East Franklin Street. Sorry, didn't allow me to do it. If you look at the low on the far, on the right, right bottom corner. Let you see it one more time. So this is approaching Cameron. And here's another surprise. This is from a different jurisdiction, but on the highway, and there's a couch laying there. Just got to watch at night. You don't outrun your lights. That seems to happen a lot, especially on highways, going too fast and you can't see like you're supposed to because everything's going by you so quick. If anybody has any questions, like I said, this is the first time I've done this way. It's a little weird, but if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me and ask. If I don't know it, I'll find out and I'll get back to you. Thank you guys. Stay safe. All right, I have one more video I was going to show you guys. Keep an eye on the driver, and then the top video, and then just watch as things kind of unfold. I'll show it again a second time, but this is on East Franklin Street, headed towards the downtown area. They just passed Elizabeth Street. Just past Carolina Avenue. All right. Just to show anything can happen. And things happen very, very quickly. I'll rewind it so you can watch it again. All right. Again, if you guys have any questions, please contact me. I'll be happy to answer it for you. And good luck. Stay safe.